Another game, another defeat, another discussion about a defeat. This is just rinse and repeat. Welcome to Brighton 2, Forest 1, and I'm going in for some of these players. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to the match reaction for Brighton 2, Forest 1, as Forest are making life extremely difficult from themselves. For the last couple of weeks we could have moved up at least a place, but nah. Let's do it the Forest way. So make sure you've liked, make sure you're subscribed, and don't forget to check out our merch store where you can get shirts with players that were actually good, just like this man here, what I'd give for Psycho in this team right now. You can scan that QR code or click on the link that's pinned. Let's start with that left back position. Nico Williams, I love him. Been our most consistent player for 18 months. What's happened to him in the last couple of weeks? I think someone in the chat said yesterday, since he decided to become a goalkeeper, his form's kind of turned a little bit, and that is worrying. In fact, the form of a lot of these players is worrying. There's only one player for me who's been consistent under Pereira, and that is Morgan Gibbs-White. I've actually enjoyed watching Morgan Gibbs-White in these last few games, and I think he's now first name on the team sheet. His goal yesterday, sublime. It really was. But this is the problem. You get yourself back into the game in a team that's not scoring many goals. And what you do 24 seconds later, it's like you're playing FIFA, man. FC 26, the kickoff boost even. The sliders get kicked up, DDA gets kicked in, the scripting gets kicked in, and Forest are asleep at the back. And the annoying thing is we can't blame having, Murillo out or Morato was playing or whatever. We had Milenkovic, we had Murillo, M&M, you had Einar at right back, Nico Williams at left back, and Sells in goal. I thought Sells was poor yesterday. I don't think he's fully match fit, and I think had Ortega not picked up the injury or that calf strain in the game in the Europa League, he probably would have started, because Sells is probably should have been 4 or 5 more days before he was ready for first team action, and I think they took a risk. And that makes you wonder, how bad is Angus the Machine Gun? We saw him in a half, did we? I can't remember what game it was, and he looked fine. Like, you got to at some point trust some of these squad players. But can you blame managers for not trusting them when Bakwa comes on, has a stinker? McAtee, after having one good game, stinker last week. Like, who is there? Who is there that's going to drag us over the line? I feel like at the moment we're just hoping and praying that Chris Wood does return in April, but that's still a month away at least. Where are these goals coming from? And the predicament isn't getting better. What frustrates me the most is that if we're beating Brighton, 5 points clear of West Ham, go past Spurs. Yeah, and then you can write off the Man City game. And then you can look at Fulham, Marco Silva doing, scouting for his job next year, beat Spurs yesterday. He maybe rolls over for us, ready for his new role in the summer in the Premier League and maybe the Champions League, who knows. But now we've got to try and get something out of Man City. You can't go into it as a free swing, even though I think we're going to get smashed. And then you got Fulham and Spurs, which is going to be literally the epicenter of the rest of our season. We have to get 4 points, I would say, out of that game. And if you would say which way around, you're better off beating Spurs than drawing with Fulham. I'd rather win both of them, but I just don't see that happening. It's just the consistency hasn't been there this season. What I'd give to go back to last year and be complaining about, oh no, we got 6 wins in a row, not 7. We only beat Brighton 7-0, not 8-0. How times were sweeter back then. But the thing is, for me, is the players. I don't know if I'm seeing the fight I expected to see in these players. It almost feels like the only way Forest are going to get wins is if we sack a manager after every single game and literally end up with 38 managers this season. The players get pumped up for one game, they put in a performance, we suddenly all remember last season, we're like, oh yeah, remember so-and-so was good last year. What's happened to them this year? We've seen signs of life from them in that game. And then because they've done it once, they can't be asked to do it again. We saw that when Dyche came in, we got the bounce in against Porto, where Forest looked good. We technically kind of saw that with Ange at Real Betis. Okay, we didn't win, but the players look good. And then we saw that with Vítor Pereira when we went and thrashed Fenerbahce away from home, and then nothing since then. Yes, the performance against Liverpool was good, but we've seen this team get up for Big Six matches pretty much every single time, win, lose or draw. And it's just frustrating, man. I can't wait for this season to end. I'll be honest with you guys. If you said to me 17th and don't win the Europa League, and you offered it to me today or roll the dice, I'm just saying end the season and give me 17th and then clear out house. Half this squad needs to go. Edu needs to go. Marinakis needs to seriously consider what his strategy is for next season. This whole scattergun approach has not worked this year, and Forest need to hit that reset button. And, you know, the complaints I heard from Pereira about the whole players tired, mentally fatigued and everything like that, I get it, he's protecting the players, but I'm not buying it, because there's 9 teams this season in the Premier League that had European football or still have European football. That's pretty much half the league. And you don't hear many other managers saying, oh, well, you know, the boys are a little tired, they had to play midweek. It's an hour and a half. It's an extra hour and a half a week. I mean, how short are their training sessions? Yes, the intensity is different in match days, I hear it. But players always want to move to clubs that have European football. And if it's not Europa League, they want to move to Champions League football clubs. Why? Because they would end up playing more matches then. So explain to me these players that are crying about mental fatigue, physical fatigue, when they, you know, let's say they relegate us, are they going to be looking at Forest and thinking, oh no, I'm going to stay here. I don't want to go and play 2 games a week, even though technically you would be in the Championship. But are they going to be like, no, I want to go to someone like a mid-table finishing Crystal Palace where I know they're going to play 1 game a week and that way I don't get tired? Shut up, man. They're all twerking for Big Six teams. So what happens next, guys? I don't know. I know we'll be live at about 6:30 tonight with Grumpy Old Reds, but I seriously have no clue. We saw the change of the system in the second half where Pereira went to his favoured back 3. You could say Forest looked a little better in that. There was more movement, more space, etc., etc. But Pereira now has pretty much a week to sort these charlatans out, and that's exactly what they are. He's got to make sure that these players don't just motivate themselves when they feel the need is right, when they feel they have to. After Man City, there's a gap until we play Midtjylland the following Thursday. So he's got to do what he can away at Man City. Let's not get slapped. Let's see if we can scumbag a 0-0 or something like that. But then we go into a really packed schedule. Midtjylland, Fulham, Midtjylland, Spurs. It's one after the other. And these players, if they start crying about being tired, then sack them on the spot, because I'm done with them. The only player right now who I think is doing well is Gibbs-White. The rest of them need to buck up their ideas. Get your thoughts in. We'll see you tonight at 6:30. Go check out the merch store, scan this QR code or click on the link. Please like, hype and subscribe. Come on, you Reds.